know he's a freshman, but we need a spark, and Grossell is our guy. So you're going to see both guys play. But I think the real key is how do you beat a Syracuse team that had such a big win? And then Dino Babers, we talked to this week, was really saying, hey, we got to keep that. We have to finish. And I think both of these ball clubs have struggled with that at points in time in the season.
Well, it's been a historic run of close games for the Orange. We expect another tight one today. Toe meets leather as Danny Longman sends it deep. And Trevor Pena's not available today. So it is Courtney Jackson returning the opening kickoff, and he'll get shy to the 20-yard line. There's some key players from both teams that have been surprising scratches that I think the public does not know about. We're going to see the Boston College defense without its leading tackler on this first possession. Isaiah Graham-Mobley is out, but Garrett Shrader, the guy that can beat you in a number of ways.
Well, you look at this offensive line, we're going to see a lot of different movement from the offensive line. Dakota Davis moves out to the right tackle position. Aaron Service is playing the center, but he could play the tackle as well.
The nation's leading rusher in terms of number of yards coming into the week, Sean Tucker in the backfield and hit right at the line of scrimmage, powers forward for a couple. Vinny DePalma, who moves to the middle, makes the stop. And without Graham Mobley, BC needs DePalma to be huge.
You're going to see these guys meet a lot today. Vinny DePalma is a guy that maybe he makes up with it from his size, and then Sean Tucker, high praise from Dino Babers, and we'll talk about that during the game today.
Impact Players brought to you by your local Ford dealer, and we are going to meet.
False start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty, second down.
We meet Jeff Flanagan early. Local Toyota dealer brings us our Impact Players, and Syracuse moves back 5.
Well, we'll see. We saw Jim Eckel. Remember, we talked to him. I talked to the umpire because that was my favorite friend when I played tight end. He was my rub guy. He was the guy that I had to make sure I would tell him the linebackers are holding me.
How often did that work?
All the time.
The umpire is your friend as a tight end. You're doing well. Shrader's first throw is off the mark. And Luke Benson was the target downfield. Benson getting the start at tight end today. Chris Elmore saw him down in the field with his arm in a sling. He will not play today for Syracuse.
The one thing with Garrett Shrader is, and just talking to the staff, is that he's really not been able to play quarterback for a while, and getting back now into the flow. He has to complete passes better than 52%. But I think the real key for him is his ability to run the football, which we'll see a lot of.
Another whistle.
Timeout. Boston College, first charge timeout.
55 seconds in, Jeff Hafley saw something he didn't like. Third down and long for Syracuse. Happy Halloween. From here at Siena, just outside of Albany. And his defense trying to dial up the pressure on Garrett Shrader and Syracuse. Let's take a look at our keys to the game, brought to you by your local Ford dealers with Charles Arbuckle.
Boston College on the offensive end has to have explosive plays. They lack those so far. And then Syracuse match BC's physicality. I'm going to talk a lot about that today. You're going to get tired of me saying that, but I'm just going to keep saying it and reiterating it has to happen.
How will the Eagles defense fare, not only without Isaiah Graham-Mobley, their leading tackler, but also Brandon Sebastian, the veteran DB. He is also unavailable today. JT Thompson expected to see a lot of time. On third and long, Shrader with time, and it was deflected at the line of scrimmage. Cam Horsley had both hands up, almost picked it off.
Well, they only rushed 3, and the linebackers kind of hugged up, and we're keeping an eye on Garrett Shrader. See 42 and 27? They're watching. They're making sure if he takes off in those lanes, but you're right, Cam Horsley, hey, big man, get your hands up, wave your hands in the air, and get a block party, which you did. That's great play by the big man. So
the BC defense forces the 3 and out. Jalen Gill back on his own side of the field around the 40, and a wobbler of a punt will be down after a nice Syracuse bounce right near the 34-yard line.
That's not where you want to be that first drive if you're Sterling Gilbert. You know, playing ahead of the chains is what you want to be. 3rd and 15 is not where this offense particularly wants to play. Not a lot of teams, because your playbook doesn't expand this is another side. Now you look at this side where they haven't had big plays. Dennis Grosel, we're going to see him. Can he make plays in the passing game? Because this run game is really, really good for BC.
12th career start for Grosel. And he's going to the air on the opening play. It's Flowers on the quick slant. Picks up close to 10. Michael Jones makes the stop.
Nice, easy play for Grosel and Bro. Zay Flowers, they want to get him involved. Nice, easy touch early, get a first down.
Officials do move the chains. First down, Eagles. And here's the running back, Pat Garwo, across midfield. Picks up 7. Some more impact players presented by your local Toyota dealer after Garwo picks up 7.
Well, Zay Flowers right away, and then Michael Jones. They met in the middle, and we're going to see a lot of that because they want to get Zay Flowers the football.
Back to Garwo on the ground behind this incredibly experienced offensive line. And
Christian Mahogany was pulling on that play, wraparound guard play, and he just got walloped by the defense.
He did.
Got to be low. His leverage was not there, and the defender made him pay.
It is another first down, though, to the Syracuse 46. 3 plays, 2 first downs for Grosel and the Eagles, and that one right in the chest of Jaden Williams.
And I'll tell you why it's happening. When you have a 3-3-5, there's going to be some open windows. And you have to know where the rover is and where that spinner, that guy that's coming down. Looks like right now BC understands that. Frank Cignetti has a beat on this defense so far.
On second down, it's Garwo again moving forward to move the chains.
And Garwo saying it's his fault because watch, he's going to fall. You see the tight end come across, hold that block there on Marlowe Wax. Garwo, if he keeps his feet going, that might be 6.
There's a tight little tunnel there for him to sneak through. Grosel back to the air, and that one's off target, looking for the freshman Williams.
They're really fortunate BC is. Christian Mahogany should have gotten called for a holding penalty on the pressure that was coming from the inside. Grosel misses on that one. But this offense looks like it's really being methodical. Frank Cignetti, who you and I have both seen for a number of years in the ACC and other places, really seems to understand the beat on this defense right now.
On second and 10, Grosel keeps it. He's going nowhere. Great pressure in the backfield by Garrett Williams, who missed last week's game in Blacksburg. They are thankful to have him back today for Tony White's team.
Watch number 8 come downhill. This is what you need to have. Grosel stumbled a little. Oh, I'm going to bring it all the way as a freshman or whatever. He missed the Virginia Tech game. They talked about him being a guy that we really need to keep our eye on. That's how you flash. That's how you show up.
He's a real guy, they say. He's got big-time potential. The redshirt freshman from Harrisburg, North Carolina. Third down, probably out of field goal range. Grosel, with the pocket collapsing, makes a move and may have moved the Eagles into field goal range down to the 28, but he's still 3 yards shy of the first.
Really good defense here, and you're going to see the pressure coming inside. He's trying to find a way. Grosel has that lane. Take off. Now, he hesitated just enough to allow Michael Jones to say, okay, I've seen this play a whole lot. Now, let's see. They're going for it on 4th down. Let's see what they call here to dial up 3 or 4 yards.
4th and about 3.5. Jeff Hafley rolling the dice, at least showing the look. Here we go. Grosel quick to the outside. There's no flag. Jalen Gill hit maybe a split second early by Eric Coley, but good enough timing for the officials, and the Eagles turned it over on downs.
Yeah, this is good coverage by Coley. Look, he's right there. Not a very good throw. Not a chance on that one, and that's what you have to have. Your defense has to know, okay, he's going to the stick. I need him there. Let me see if I can make a play, and they were able to. Good defense by Syracuse.
Big stop for Dino Babers. If you're Dennis Grosel and Jeff Hafley and the Eagles, are you happy that you moved the ball and showed something, or is it all about the points?
All about the points. Remember, you can get as many yards, and that doesn't matter in a game like this. You got to come away with points.
Fake the give to Tucker, and the Eagles defense bottles up Shrader after maybe 1 yard. Jason Maitre playing up close to the line of scrimmage. The safety from Orlando.
You're going to see the misdirection pulls everybody over, but Maitre and a couple of other guys were not fooled. Garrett Shrader's going to run the ball. There's a lot of eye candy with Sterling Gilbert's offense.
On 2nd down and 9, and Shrader started off 0 for 3. Intended for Sherrod Johnson on the perimeter, and Shrader comes up a little limpy.
Yeah, he's taking some shots. I mean, he's going to get hit. Here's the guys that we talked about, right? Out for the day. Trey Berry for Boston College. Chris Elmore, fullback tight end guy. Trevor Pena, who's really their return specialist. And IGM, who's a huge linebacker player for Boston College.
Dakota Davis, the typical starting right guard, has moved out to right tackle for the start of the game. Down the seam, it's complete. And on 3rd down, a big play caught by Johnson.
You and I talked about this before the game. Those throws outside the numbers or outside the hash aren't always good, but with Shrader, look at this strike on a seam route. Very nice throw, very nice catch, 1st down.
23 yards on 3rd and 9 into BC territory for the first time. Here's Tucker on the sweep, and a positive play for the nation's leading rusher. We heard his coaches say that they remind him of a shorter Marcus Allen, which is incredibly high praise. That's how special they think he is.
I think he's pretty special, but Marcus Allen was a whole nother level. Dino Babers and Marcus Allen are from the same hometown as San Diego, so he spent time around him. But Sean Tucker is special.
6 straight 100-yard games coming into today for Tucker. After the 4-yard pickup, they pitch it to him again, and he's got the 1st down into the Eagles secondary. Maitre and Woodby there to finally slow him down. The Orange on the march.
Yeah, they do a nice job with the tight end, getting him outside and then blocking it. They're just pitching the ball outside. You're going to see it a little late in the screen. They want to take big 47, move him outside, Max Mang, and then they're going to run outside. Just a quick, easy pitch.
Well, it's good to see Josh DeBerry out there starting nickel. He's been banged up at times too, and his backup Sean Asbury out for the year after he broke his arm at Louisville. So Jeff Hafley and Tim Lukabu's defense needing to be flexible with everything that has happened. Hafley screaming for a flag. Doesn't. Well, now we get it. It arrives late, but it will cost the Orange 5.
Well, the defensive guys were doing it first.
Offense number 47. 5-yard penalties for 2nd down.
So it was funny. The defenders, especially Cam Arnold, was the first guy, 27, the linebacker. He's calling them out. And Max Mang is just saying, "Oh, I didn't move. No, I didn't move." And then finally, you saw Jeff Hafley running down the field and trying to get that call.
Hafley and Babers going head-to-head again. BC won a low-scoring game here at the Dome last year, 16-13. Of course, 2 years ago, the BC offense went off. A record-breaking day. On 2nd down, the comeback route handled near the Eagles sideline by Johnson, who has been Shrader's man early.
He's finding them. Came in with 11 catches on the year. But I think today, he's got a comfort level, knows where he is, and getting the ball out to him.
Longest catch of the season for Johnson last week, 38-yarder in Blacksburg. What a great game that was for Syracuse.
Yeah, the Virginia Tech faithful, I know they were not happy with the way that one ended. But clearly,
Orange with 5 straight one-possession games for just the 2nd time in program history. You got to go back to '94. They've never had 6 straight one-possession games. Shrader down the seam, flags fly, it's intercepted, picked off by Mike Palmer. We will see how this goes.
It's either going to be holding or defensive pass interference, because Johnson got grabbed when he was going down the field. That's the one I saw. There was another flag as well.
There was a flag closer to the line of scrimmage too. Again, Jeff Flanagan leading today's ACC crew.
2 fouls on the play, both by the defense. Holding defense. That will be declined. Personal foul. Continued hands to the face. Number 96 defense. Penalties half 15 yards. First down.
You're seeing that a little bit more, Evan, because if you hold your hands and keep them in the offensive lineman's face for too long, you can do it, but you've got to get that hand out of there. And that's a much bigger penalty than the other one. But Johnson would have had a touchdown had he not been grabbed.
So the penalty on Horsley, 15 yards for hands to the face, takes the Orange down to the 17 into the red zone for the first time. And Shrader didn't get it off before the false start.
False start. Offense number 60. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Guy making his 25th consecutive start at left tackle, Matthew Bergeron, the guilty party.
Well, these are the penalties that you can't have if you're Syracuse. These are mental errors that you get 5 free yards. And then that allows the defense to kind of settle down because they've had a few plays, a few big plays they've been able to make. But when you get these 5-yard penalties, and it just discombobulates your offense.
So Syracuse now a couple yards shy of the red zone, and Garrett Shrader takes a timeout after the Orange went 3 and out on their first possession. They got the ball back on the turnover on downs, and Syracuse is on the move midway through the first. The legendary comic. All right, we're back at the Dome after the Orange took the timeout. It's 1st and 15. And Shrader airs it out inside the 10, inbounds. What a throw and catch to Damian Alford.
He has time right here. Just a quick out. DB going back. He pushes that cushion. Come down, be a little more friendly to the quarterback, I would say, but still, nice catch by Alford.
And it picked up 14. It is 2nd and 1 down at the 8. Tucker does not take the handoff. Shrader met by an army of Eagle defenders, and he's going to be shy of the first.
Remember what the Boston College, Tim Lukabu talked about. He talked about making sure we stay downhill. Last week they had to worry about guys getting outside. This time with Garrett Shrader running the football, you're going to be more downhill with his big body.
Malik Cunningham from Louisville and Garrett Shrader, scary in different ways.
Yes.
Syracuse 3rd and 3 from the CPI security red zone. Tucker up the middle. And that should set up the Orange with 1st and goal.
You have Max Main, 47, coming across, kind of sealing off everything. And that gives you a chance to just have, you see 47 flash, and then you see Tucker just making himself into a ball and running through Bryce Steele for their first down.
Big game for Bryce Steele, moving into the starting lineup in the outside spot with DePalma moving inside. Isaiah Graham Mobley out today. Tucker closing in on the goal line. He'll be stopped at the 2.
Well, they talked about DePalma being more comfortable moving on the inside, even though IGN is where he kind of is housed. It'll be interesting what Sterling Gilbert dials up here. Like I said, when I say window dressing, watch all the movement, the cross action, whether it's guard center, whether it's the tight end. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Oh, great pressure in the backfield. DePalma came flying in.
We talked about 42 making a big play. He's going to have a big impact. You're going to see him just kind of fly in there. Look, right off the edge that time. Usually he's on the inside. This time he scrapes off the edge and makes a huge play.
Can't feel good when Cam Horsley lands on you. 6'3", 290 on the defensive line. All right, 3rd and goal. Basically a 2-point conversion here, but it would count for 6. And hit as he throws. The ball is in the backfield. There's a live ball, and DePalma scoops it up. Vinny DePalma for Boston College takes it out to the 37-yard line. And if it stands, it's a fumble and a big play for the Eagles.
97 Marcus Valdez with the huge pressure to allow Vinny DePalma to make that play. This was unbelievable. you're going to see 97 just come right clean, right in the middle of your screen. I mean, big 97 right there. Look at him. Not even touched. Totally missed by the guard center area. Now, the fans are upset to make sure to see if it was a fumble or a forward pass.
The pass went backwards.
Well, look at Marcus Valdez coming right there. You see everybody moving over, and the center doesn't get a chance to get to him, and that's where the ball is coming out. And it was called a fumble on the field, so that's the problem. He looks like his arm is back, but as he's getting hit, his arm moves forward.
And I think for the ball to go backwards and still be a complete pass, the arm maybe have to be going forward, and Valdez may have to bat the ball. That didn't happen.
Now the other thing is, was it a lateral?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. So initially it was it a fumble or was it a lateral, and they're looking at that to see.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
Eagles football as Valdez creates the turnover, and De Palma brings it out. A pretty nice field position at the 38-yard line. Valdez, one of the veterans on this D-line. .39th career game for Valdez, and here's Dennis Grosel back on the field. And the BC offense. Quick pass to Flowers, and he's hit immediately by Garrett Williams on the perimeter.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of Zay Flowers. Jalen Gill, who we haven't called his name yet, also a big play threat for an Ohio State transfer.
BC arrives 4-3, second straight year. They were 4-3 when they arrived into the Carrier Dome last year. They got the win by 3. Jeff Hafley's first year as head coach completes this one to Jalen Gill, and it's going to set up 3rd and 2. Eagles offense bucked 4 touchdowns in their last 3 games. After they scored 19 touchdowns in their first 4 games, they started 4-0.
And that's where the spark that we talked about, not being able to finish drives, not having explosive plays, those are the things that they've been looking for.
3rd and short. Floating it down the sideline for Gill. It's incomplete. And that is the exact play that the Eagles have been waiting for Grosel to hit.
You only get so many of those opportunities during a game. You only get so many of these. And when you miss on them, what you do is you do defensively, it's great for Syracuse, but offensively, it's more in the head of Boston College and the quarterback position and their staff that they can't make those plays.
The type of down and distance and spot on the field, you could see something tricky from BC on 4th and 2. But Carlson's going to kick it away. And Courtney Jackson lets it bounce, and it will roll to the 9-yard line. .45 yards on the punt for Carlson. Syracuse back on offense pretty quickly after the turnover when it was a pretty clear breakdown. The left guard, Chris Bleich, and the center, Aaron Service, just let Valdez like he was welcome in the backfield.
Well, the count made him do that, and that's, you had those guys outside, so guard and tackle move, center has to go. But it's a tougher position for the center because he has to snap and then move over.
Bleich is actually playing right guard right now. His backup Kalen Ellis is the left guard. And Tucker takes it out to the 15. He picks up 6 to begin this drive.
We're going to see a lot of movement on that offensive line. That was the one thing talking to them. They just said, hey, we have a lot of moving parts. Mike Schmidt, the offensive line coach, has done a nice job getting people where they need to be. And it's a tribute to have a guy like this in the backfield to help you.
Eagles defense standing strong in the run game so far, but now some room for Shrader. The gap looked bigger than that. Picks up the first down, but he got 7 when he could have gotten 70.
You got your edge rusher, number 11, coming off hard. See, and that's the contain. When you lose contain like that, that's what Garrett is looking for. That's what that RPO gives you. Salah Scylla is coming off the edge, he misses the area. He's got to stay tighter and wider and make sure he doesn't allow Garrett Shrader to get outside.
Sean Tucker, the workhorse, with a huge hole. Breaks one tackle, takes it across midfield, and Elijah Jones brings him down after the biggest Cuse play of the day.
And the stiff arm by Tucker. Watch it when he gets in the open field. Look at that. That stiff arm there. Get off of me, I'm going. But great blocking up front, just enough. And that is what they talk about, his ability to hit home runs. He is a guy that can make big plays. He's a one cut and go. We saw him last year, early in the year. Hope Maitre is okay, but he took a jackhammer stiff arm from Sean Tucker. We talked about physicality. Those are the things you see. If you're traveling, you got to bring your defense with you. But if you're at home, your run game has to be good. He just missed.
Got drilled right in the face and did not get up.
Went down hard on his arm, shoulder.
37 yards for Tucker. He came into today, Buck, 63 yards ahead of Kenneth Walker Jr., the transfer from Wake Forest, who's been a superstar for Michigan State. Sparty, 37-33. They win in East Lansing over Michigan. Kenneth Walker had 197 in that game. And the late pitch to the perimeter for Jackson. So Sean Tucker, as of right now, needs 73 more yards today to move right past Walker in total rushing yards to the #1 spot again.
Well, anytime you design your defense, you have to say, okay, we have to stop 34. Garrett Shrader is going to hurt you as a byproduct. But this young man, 6.1 yards per carry, is because he's just a quiet killer in the run game.
Back to the quiet killer. Back to the line of scrimmage barely as Chris Banks helped to wrap him up in the backfield.
And what it does, I mean, what it does for Syracuse is it allows you to have the shuffling of the offensive line. Guys getting hurt, tight end position hurt. I mean, you got a lot of different things going on. But at the end of the day, when you have 34 that can make plays like he does, not only in the run game, but in the pass game, it gives you a whole nother dimension. He's threatening in the pass game. 16 catches, averages over 14 yards a catch.
Well, the first play of the second quarter is going to be 3rd down and 6. Orange took it inside the 5, but we're still scoreless after 1 at York. Over 100 yards of offense, but nothing to show for it so far for Syracuse as we start the second quarter with an important 3rd down. It's 3rd and 6 from the 37 for Garrett Shrader in the orange. Everybody bunched up close to the formation here for Shrader. And falling down as he throws, it's incomplete, intended for Anthony Quealy.
Almost looks like his offensive lineman steps on his foot.
Hate when that happens.
Yeah. Like 76, maybe tailing up. It's Bergeron, number 60. His tackle gets out there, and he's looking to throw the football, and as soon as he does, steps on his foot.
Offense staying on the field. 4th down and 6. 5 wide receivers for the Orange. Eagles bringing 5 deep down the field, and the receiver didn't see it. Damian Alford was looking back and did not see the ball in the air, and it'll be BC's football. Elijah
Jones running step for step. The junior out of Harlem, New York, running stride for stride with him. Receiver just lost it. Garrett Shrader knows where to go. You have to have the clock moving quicker, but he totally lost it. Damian Alford did not know where it was.
New quarterback into the game for Boston College, the true freshman from Woodside, California, Emmett Morehead. His first college snap, and he gives it to his back. For more on the Morehead situation, let's go down to Rebecca.
Well, guys, I was over here on the sidelines on Boston College side. Emmett Morehead was warming up with Alec Lindstrom at center. He turned around, saw his parents, gave them a wave, and then hit his chest and said, "It's my time." And here he is.
His dad, Dan, played college football at Princeton. He's been enrolled in Chestnut Hill since January. His first throw just off the fingertips and incomplete, looking for Flowers.
That is what they're looking for this offense. They don't know what's going to happen. Jeff Hafley told us, he said, look, he's a freshman, man. I don't know, but I do know this. He makes all the throws, and he is really good. And you can see they gave him a route that was probably his favorite that he's played, that corner route to the edge with Zay Flowers just missing.
It looked good in the air.
Yeah.
It was a pretty throw from the true freshman. Sinkfield with the first down carry, and now Levy replaces him in the backfield on 3rd and 8. Play action. Morehead deep downfield again. Flowers again makes the catch this time, and the ball comes out late, but it will be Boston College ball inside the 20 on the first completion of Emmett Morehead's promising career.
Hey, the offensive line looked after that last incompletion and said, we got you. So they gave him time. And what did he do? Say, I'm going to hit you with a nice one right there where only you can catch it. As a receiver, your eyes get big when you know. Look at the sideline. That's what they've been waiting for. We talked about explosive plays. Young man, Emmett Morehead, I think you made one.
44 yards on 3rd and 8. And Dino Babers wants a timeout. Said, we didn't know anything about this guy. Who is this guy? The 6'5 gunslinger. Playing his first college football. Hadn't played high school football since 2019. And Jeff Hafley of Emmett Morehead, and Dino Babers rushed down the sideline to call a timeout because he wanted to challenge the previous play, which currently stands as a 44-yard completion, the first of Morehead's college career. And we think this is going to stand, but worth a challenge on a 3rd and 8 for the Syracuse head coach.
Yeah, this is a pass, hits Zay Flowers in the best possible spot. He has it, he goes down. It comes out really late. It comes out after he rolls over, so it looks like it'll stand. It was not completely secure when he went down, but he had it. You call a catch.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
That was a hard one to overturn. Indisputable video evidence. But the play before is where I think even the offensive line, Christian Mahogany turned after they protected for Emmett Morehead like, look, we got you, man. You just keep doing what you do. I'm going to tell you, this is almost like when Troy Aikman shows up at UCLA as a transfer. I'm not comparing Emmett Morehead, but he can throw the ball.
That's high praise.
Yeah, right away, you just see the difference in the ability.
Did Troy look as California as
Yes,
Emmett
he did. He did. He sure did.
Not anymore. Here's the give to Sinkfield, and he's hit in the backfield by Williams, who's been all over the place so far for the Orange D.
Yeah, this defense knows now they got to stop the run and not allow this young man to get confidence. And this offensive line does a good job interior, but on the edge, that was a real nice play by Garrett Williams again. I love to see cornerbacks who aren't afraid to come up and play some tackle.
3 wide receivers. Spencer Witter, the tight end, going out for a route as well. It's Jalen Gill down to the 14. 3rd down coming up, but first, a word from Works Nitro.
Meet Works Nitro. Powerful tools for any project with gas-like power without the gas. Fueled by PowerShare batteries to give you the power to outperform.
3rd down. Eagles need to get down to the 7. The true freshman quarterback facing pressure. Flowers was open, but the throw is out of bounds. And there's an Eagle lineman down on the play. Morehead is checking on his left tackle, Tyler Vrabel.
Vrabel missed the NC State game, and they look like they're going to have to get him over to the sideline. Big 78 on the outside. There's pressure coming. Right at the tail end, he goes down, but pressure coming. You're going to bring that for a young guy, knowing or seeing if he can handle it.
He had Flowers too, but throws it out of bounds. And well, here is the Eagles field goal kicker, Connor Litton. And right down the middle to get Boston College on the board. Morehead, 7 plays, 49 yards, sets up the 31-yard field goal from Linton. The big play was the 44-yarder to Flowers on 3rd down, but the kid showed some composure out there.
He really did. I mean, you knew pressure was going to come. Tony White and his staff had to know, okay, we got this big kid. We've got to get after him in a 3rd down situation. They got to him almost. But I think the biggest thing is you saw the spark that this offense has been missing, and let's see how that plays out. Jeff Hafley did say if he comes in and plays well, we're not going to just move away from him. So I expect to see him again at some point, maybe if not the next series.
Yeah, we had our Zoom with Coach Hafley earlier in the week, but we were able to chat with Jeff down in the field pregame, and so they think he's the quarterback of the future here in Chestnut Hill. Longman's kickoff sails into the end zone, and the Orange will begin their next possession from the 25-yard line. Garrett Shrader has 50 throwing yards, -6 rushing yards so far for Shrader.
Part of that, too, is when you're throwing the sack yardage, that works against you. And the thing is, I think Boston College has done a really nice job of spying them, so to speak, letting their 3 guys rush and then just keeping a linebacker or 2, keeping an eye on them. They're being a little nosy.
Eagles defensive coordinator Tim Lukabu was actually at Mississippi State when Garrett Shrader arrived in Starkville under the previous regime. Shrader started a couple games as a freshman for the Bulldogs. Mike Leach came in. He wasn't a Mike Leach style QB. He transferred to Syracuse, and down he goes in the backfield. Chris Banks got just enough of him, and Shrader trips up and loses a bundle.
Such a good athlete, though. Sometimes you can hurt yourself. Right here, this is one where he has nowhere to throw the football, get outside the pocket and burn it. That turf monster seemed to have reached up and got him along with Chris Banks. Chris, that's the easiest sack you're going to ever get, man. So I'm just going to say, now you came in with 1.5. You got 2.5. You better go get the other ones.
The loss of 12. 2nd and 22 to the air again for Johnson, who dropped it. And it is 3rd and long for the Orange.
Yeah, I'm running before I catch it. That's what Johnson was doing. Look at your eyes. Your eyes have to go to the ball. Your hands go to the ball, but your eyes do as well. Look at that head. When you turn that head like that, you're going to miss the football. Sometimes you're really good. You catch it.
The word we keep hearing from the Orange at this position in particular, there's a vacuum.
Yes.
There's a hole waiting to be filled in terms of a wide-out playmaker. Courtney Jackson had the best game of his career last week. Whether it's Jackson or Johnson or Alford, maybe one of the tight ends can get more involved. Who knows? Shrader ready to take off on 3rd and 22. And he spins out across the 30. And he's going to be 1.5 yards shy of the first.
I mean, when he decided to run, look at this. Good offensive line blocking. Blythe going out in front. He knows I got to run through it. Almost a helicopter play like he had when he was at Mississippi State as a freshman. But that just shows you, if you get the yards from that catch with Sherrod Johnson, that should have been a drop, that should have been a catch, you have shorter distance, and that allows you to take Shrader and just run him down the field.
Any temptation to go for this here?
No, not at all. I think where they are, they have to make sure they play defense right here.
Low line drive kick near the Syracuse sidelines. Jalen Gill lets it bounce, and it will come to a stop just inside the 25. Coming up with our Toyota halftime report, we'll get you a recap from Atlanta. Big win for the Hokies today as they get the victory down at Bobby Dodd Stadium. Huge day in the ACC. Miami taking down Pittsburgh.
That's a huge win
in the early window. First half highlights and stats here from the Carrier Dome. And Jeff Hafley sending his true freshman Emmett Morehead back onto the field. They just like his arm. They like what they've seen from him in practice. They said he's absolutely our most skilled deep thrower. And he's getting an opportunity to play after Grossell got the start, did not score in the first 2 series. Pat Garwo takes it up the middle for a gain of 9. We should say it wasn't because Dennis Grossell didn't lead the Eagles down the field. Jeff Hafley came into the game thinking, I'm probably going to play Morehead the 3rd series of the game unless it's backed up inside the 5, something like that.
That's exactly right. They were going to give 2 series and then bring him in on the 3rd, which they were able to do.
To the outside, it's C.J. Lewis. That will move the change as we check in with Rebecca.
Guys are just down here on the sidelines with Dennis Grosel giving every single player a high five. That's a sign of a leadership right there and a guy who really wants this team to continue to fight and continue to win.
He's been a great teammate, arrived as a walk-on. Was going to go to Butler and play college baseball before BC came in with a last-minute opportunity to join as a preferred walk-on. It was the day of his high school graduation. It was that late in the game. The coach gave him a call and said, hey, I got this opportunity for you, but you got to tell me right now because there's another guy they want to. And I mean, that was a half-decade ago.
That's
and
great.
He's had an unbelievable career getting opportunities to play. He's not a guy who's going to break a quarterback locker room if someone younger replaces him. That's for sure. Morehead, flush to the left. Tucks it, runs it, and looked pretty smooth doing it.
Yeah, he did. One thing you're going to see, too, is Tyler Vrabel went out the last series. He's the left tackle. Jack Conley is now in that position, 67. So any passing downs, I'm going to keep an eye on the left tackle position. Big 67 has played, but now he's moving from the right tackle back up to the left tackle position with Vrabel out.
Third down and 5. Levy alongside Morehead in the backfield. Eagles need midfield, and down goes the freshman. Stephon Thompson doing everything for the Orange.
Tony White is not afraid to dial it up. Coach, defensive coordinator, is going to bring some pressure. You see that coming at you, and then the delay by the linebacker. A little dog delay is always hard for a young guy. Watch 7. 7's just kind of creeping right there, right? 7 on the edge, then I'm coming around the edge. It's almost a stunt game with a lineman and a linebacker, which is much tougher for an offensive lineman to pick up.
Loss of 7 on the sack. Now 5.5 sacks this year for Stephon Thompson. Carlson's punt, fair caught at the Orange 25. So last 3 possessions for the two teams have all started at the 25-yard line. There's something a little spooky about that, Charles.
Halloween.
Coming weekend, also Halloween weekend. It's a cool moment pregame. The class of 1971 celebrating their 50th anniversary. Those who came back were down on the field for the anthem, for the introductions.
That was great. Great to see.
So much tradition here at Syracuse. Bobbled snap by Shrader, and he gets walloped in the backfield by a pack of Eagles defenders. I think Brandon Barlow got there first.
He's getting up slow. And this is one where Shrader, the ball is hot, and look at all the defenders coming to meet and lied on. That's the one area you want to protect him. You don't want him to get those hits. But Boston College, I talked about them being physical. When they see a quarterback running around, they're going to come and lay the wood on him.
Are you a guy that likes to put some potato chips in his sandwich? Because there was some crunch in that sandwich right there.
I want to eat them, but that did sound a lot of crunch.
Midway through the second quarter, Sean Tucker, first time they've given him the ball in a while. It's his 11th carry of the game, and it will set up third down at about 6.
You know, I know there's a thing that you don't want to run him too much, but I can see 25 touches easily every game with Tucker. Just his ability, he doesn't really seem to take direct shots. He's really good in the passing game. They're going to use him as much as they can to make some explosive plays until the receivers really step up and make consistent plays.
On third down, and Shrader overthrows Johnson. Sherrod Johnson just turned 24 this past Monday. Sean Tucker's birthday was Monday, too. Today's Tucker's first game as a 20-year-old. But 4 straight incompletions for Shrader sends the punt team back on the field.
All those hits he takes also doesn't help him when he's trying to throw the football. And I think that's the one thing. Shrader is not an anticipation thrower of the football. And that's where he gets into trouble with the 52.5% completion percentage.
James Williams back on the field for Syracuse. And Jalen Gill standing at his own 28. Punt lands at the 34 and bounces to a stop at the 33. They got 6:45 remaining in the half. Will we see Grossell or Morehead for this next drive? That's the question. We'll have the answer on the other side. Game losing streak. They started 4-0. Now they're 4-3. Headed to the month of November. One of these teams is going to get crucial win number 5 today, which is a big step toward bowl eligibility. Both teams have difficult schedules down the stretch, but BC may be beginning a new era of Eagle football, Charles, with the true freshman Emmett Morehead relieving Dennis Grossell.
Yeah, when you have a guy that can throw the ball and your offensive line, your receivers, it's a pep in your step. Right here, this one he missed barely to save Flowers.
That was his first throw.
Yeah, that was his very first throw. And then the next one, you couldn't ask for a better throw than this. And clearly, they wanted to get him comfortable. Those were both corner routes running away, which are sometimes harder to throw. But you can see right away where the arm talent is. Frank Signetti, we talked to him real quick, and he was just, he was effusive, and he said, I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that he can make all the throws.
We saw Grossell the first 2 series of the game. We saw Morehead the last 2 series. It's Morehead out there again for BC's 5th series on offense here in the first half, and a give up the middle. Travis Levy picks up a good chunk, 8 yards on first down for the grad student from Maryland.
And this, you talk about running through somebody. Watch him. Watch 11. You see 11 coming down? He brings it, but Levy just says, I'm not going down. You're going to need some help from your homeboys if you're going to bring me down.
Levy, 8 carries for 7 yards in BC's last 2 ball games combined, so that's a nice pep to his step there. And go right back to the veteran Levy, who's been so good on special teams throughout his career, getting more opportunities in the backfield, moves the chains.
I'll tell you this, the 3-3-5 that Tony White, the defensive coordinator, runs is very similar to Rocky Long. We haven't called his name a lot, but Justin Barron, 23, is a rover. He'll come around and fly through the football, but the 3-3-5 allows you some flexibility, and it's tougher for a young man to face this because you always see guys that are spinners coming down the alley.
Play action. Morehead deep to Flowers, incomplete. Jihad Carter there in the coverage.
Missed by Morehead. He threw that too far outside, and Zay Flowers was on the track for a skinny post. Those are the things you kind of miss, but you can see the arm talent there.
He was open, and the throw took him back toward the defender.
Exactly. But again, these are the things that they've been missing on. You can see how he's having to go almost over his other shoulder. If he throws that more in the middle, almost to the crossbar, that's 6 points for him.
You like to play call on 1st and 10?
I love it. Attack.
Back to Levy, and he lost the football. Boston College fortunate that Levy got it back.
This is the area of the field, Evan, where you will take those shots. And with the quarterback like that, we said these explosive plays, this is what you want. Now you come back with the run game of Levy. Levy loses the football, but he gets it back. You talk about, look, 4 defenders there, and he still gets it. That game of football is crazy.
3rd down and 6. The true freshman Morehead steps up, looking to run. And Morehead spun down, but he's got enough for the first down. That's some moxie for the young one.
He did. Guys on the outside coming. He knows he has to step up, the clock ticking in his head. See the pressure from the outside? Okay, I'm going to just step up, change the platform, keep my eyes down the field. Okay, I got to go. You can see guys blocking for him in front. Good job by the young freshman.
Down to the 41, new set of downs. It's back to Levy, and he picks up 1. Time for today's Discover the Best, brought to you by Fresh Market. Our QB comparison, Grossell, the start didn't play poorly, but he missed a couple guys, which has been the story. They wanted to give Morehead a chance.
Yeah, it had been a thing that had been happening. It was almost one of those situations where they were going to give Grossell a good opportunity to make some plays. Just didn't happen early in this game.
Sinkfield now in the backfield. Lockett Morehead overshoots Williams, who was open.
Well, and this is what you have when you haven't practiced, because the game is totally different than practice and play live game. It almost looks like Williams is expecting one thing. Morehead sees that's a shot between the hard defender low and the defender high. He put it where it needed to be, but it's just one of those things where you can kind of see some of the things coming together when you have a game as opposed to practice.
Eagles 2 for 6 on third down so far today. Under 4 minutes to play in the half. A pump fake, and he'll tuck it and run it, and he slides short of the marker, which sets up an interesting decision for Jeff Hafley, who's standing right by the line of scrimmage over there on the Eagles sideline. Here comes the punt team.
Yeah, I like how they dialed up the pressure and didn't let him get comfortable. You let him sit back there and throw the ball and just have a easy throw and catch, he's going to be comfortable. But that Syracuse defense, nice job right there of coming with some pressure.
This feels like my defense is playing well. Let's try to back them up and not give them any momentum heading into the half. Decision right here for BC. Courtney Jackson standing at his own 8-yard line, awaiting the Carlson punt. End over end wobbler, and he'll make the fair catch. Right around the 8-yard line. That's where Syracuse will take over.
Remember, the normal punt returner, Pena, is out today. Got injured last week late in the game against Virginia Tech. Courtney Jackson, coming into today's game, had 1 punt return for 25 yards. So let's keep an eye on that, because Pena is not only punt return, but kick returner as well.
And he's second in the nation, #1 in the ACC in combined return yards this season. So Shrader, now 4 of 11, and he's only got 1 rushing yard. Tucker is 67 yards on the ground so far here in the first half. He's more than halfway to his 7th straight 100-yard game. Buck, I got curious, so I dug into the record books a little bit. You know who has the all-time college football record for most consecutive 100-yard rushing games? The guy that won the Heisman twice. Archie Griffin at Ohio State. 31 consecutive games in the 70s. Pass downfield, tipped and incomplete. Intended for Alford. It'll be third down. Quick sidebar to that, though, Buck. That's the FBS record. The FCS Division I record. The other Adrian Peterson, the one that played for Georgia Southern and the Bears.
Here's a ball that's a little high. Receiver tries to go up and make a play, but it's way too high for him on that particular play. And I think those are the ones you got to get down, because that's a tricky area. Damian Alford trying to go up and make a play on it. Fortunately for him, it wasn't intercepted.
Third down for Syracuse. It's been a while since Shrader has completed a pass. And Dino Babers down the sideline takes a timeout. 2:29 remaining in our first half. And I think the most important thing here for Syracuse is don't make a mistake that really stings as we go down to the sideline with Rebecca.
Well, guys, I had the opportunity to talk with Shrader and Tuck this week over the phone, and let me tell you, their personalities couldn't be more different, but my, how they work together. Shrader, the personality, first on the phone. Hey, Rebecca, how's it going? Tuck. Hey, Tuck, how's it going? Oh, it's going great, Rebecca. But the fact that these two guys have completely different personalities, opposites attract. Why not? They work together.
Yeah, great stuff, Rebecca. You know, guys have different personalities, and you know, Shrader loves to talk about flying and his fishing and hunting, and Tuck is just keep his head down and stay to himself.
Well, and I think with Shrader too, you have to do that sometimes when you've transferred. But he's been that kind of kid. I mean, guys gravitated towards him. Like I said, I watched him a little bit from a distance in Charlotte when he was growing up. But Charlotte Christian, they had a great coaching staff with Eugene Robinson, Michael Dean Perry. I mean,
former Panthers kicker John Casey, tight end colleague of yours, former Bill Pete Metzelars was on that staff, coached by a ton of former NFLers, and a flag on the third down play is going to back them up 4. False start.
Offense number 60. Penalties half the distance to the goal. Third down.
Jason Eastep was the head coach there. And the other thing is, I'll just have to say this. My son Kyle Arbuckle and his Charlotte Latin Hawks ended up beating Christian when he was a senior or junior. Yeah, so they ended up beating him. Shrader wasn't there. I mean, this was way before then, but they've always had really talented players coming out of that Charlotte Christian program.
I knew you'd get that Charlotte Latin mention in there. Talking about Queen City supremacy, high school football.
That's a private school football there is really big.
3rd and 14. Shrader from his own end zone under pressure, and he throws it to the feet of Tucker, but he was outside the pocket, and there will not be a flag for intentional grounding.
It looked like Cam Horsley just came free, and Cam was like, okay, I think I can give me a safety and a sack. Oh my goodness, let me go, big man. No, man, why did you throw the ball, Garrett Shrader? I needed a safety and a sack, and what would I get as a Happy Meal toy? That probably nothing.
Maybe the game ball at the end of the game.
Jeff Hafley wanted to know if he got outside the box. He did, or outside the tackle area where he could throw that ball.
Williams could not step backward, standing at the back of his end zone. Gill fumbles the catch, recovers it, makes one man miss, and then the crowd arrives. The cavalry brings him down. They'll spot it at the 47 of Boston College, but great field position. Little opportunity for some complimentary football here, as Bill Belichick likes to say, late in the first half for the Eagles.
I knew you would get your Patriots in. But yeah, no, really, you have to, the field position battle now, if your Boston College has been won, go after it. Make sure you try to come away with some more points before the half.
Well, it feels like this is Morehead's offense right now.
Yeah.
His 4th straight series. It'll be interesting to see if we see Grossell on the field again today. Pressure's coming, and Morehead gets crunched.
I talked Kingsley Jonathan going up against Klein, 67. You're going to see right there, not able to hold up. And we talked about Conley being the guy that had to play the left tackle position, which is the toughest.
2 of the super seniors on that Syracuse defensive line making a play, Jonathan and Roscoe.
And Morehead comes out.
How about that?
After that play. Yeah, Grossell is coming back. I don't know if he was hurt.
This looks like a let's manage this last 95 seconds and not do anything silly.
Yeah.
Emergence of Dennis Grossell.
But Morehead ran straight to the bench, and it's just interesting to see if he's nicked up or anything after that sack. But I agree with you. I think it is one of those, hey, let's settle things down.
Let's get to the locker room with a lead. Grossell has managed a bunch of these situations, playing his 22nd game, his 12th start.
Well, you can see 67 inside, but that's a stunt game. He thinks only one hand, and Grossell takes a shot between 2 defenders. Like I said, I don't know if he was injured, but he ran straight to the sideline.
They're going to take a look. He got hit pretty good.
Yeah, they're going to take him into the tent.
How would you compare getting hit in high school versus getting hit in college?
It's a whole different ball game. I can remember my first game ever in college, Oklahoma, and this is when Oklahoma was going well.
Welcome to college football.
I'm on the defensive end. I can't remember that dude's name, but he was a grown man. I hit him, and he didn't move. Hit him the next play, didn't move. And then he didn't talk much, but he looked at me like, winked at me like, yeah, young man, you got to come to play us. They beat the brakes off of us 38-3. I went in the weight room, and ever since then I said, I'm going to lift so I can be strong enough to move a guy like that.
Growing experience for you, got you to the NFL. He played on Sundays. Grossell gives it to Levy. I wonder if something happened to Garwo. We haven't seen Pat in a while.
Well, and I think the biggest thing is keeping Dennis in the ball game as well, because he has been the guy that started for him. Maybe it allowed him to take a step back and kind of watch how this offense was performing, see how he could insert himself back in when he got the opportunity.
You know, if Syracuse offense had been moving the ball a little bit better, you may have seen Dino Babers take a timeout here to try to buy himself a minute 20. But look, he's thrown 7 straight incompletions in the middle of the field. And Syracuse is eager to get to the locker room too, only down by 3. Grossell works down the clock, gives it to Levy, who runs into his own man in the backfield and preserves the play for a couple seconds, but he still loses a couple.
Watch zero McKinley Williams. It was a huge play. The first guy to ever wear zero just beats the center, and he gets this tackle by running almost hipping the running back. This was outstanding. He comes in, makes a play, and then still has to make another play.
Another one of those super seniors on the D-line, Bear Williams, as they call him. Today, his 58th college football game.
He's seen a few plays. Kind of knows.
Yes, he has.
They said he is a guy that has really learned how to play. Josh Black, who's 85 next to him, really blue-collar, hard worker.
Of course, we just saw the look at Phil Dracovic on the Eagles sideline. Fractured right hand in the opening drive, September 11th against UMass. And I thought it was interesting that Hafley said earlier this week, if he wasn't a quarterback, he could play. They could cast up that right hand, and he could get out there and play linebacker or tight end, but can't throw the ball.
Yeah, we saw him last year. Talk about a guy that could spin it. They're missing him and his leadership.
That punt is going to roll inside the 10. Jackson will let it trickle all the way down to the 7. Clock stops with 23 seconds remaining in the first half. The Orange with no timeouts.
The other thing that he's been able to provide since he can't play is just some of that leadership. He's been on the side, but he's been able to help the quarterback room. And you know, I think they wish he could come back, but it's one of those things, like you said. As a quarterback, you need your hand.
Syracuse 41 points last week. 3 points through one half this week, and the Eagles will receive to start the second half.
We talked about an old school matchup. 3-0 is something that they've been accustomed to.
Shrader spinning into the crowd just across the 5-yard line, and that's going to be the final snap of the first half here at the Dome. A lot of fans back for homecoming. We're hoping to see some offense. So far, Garrett Shrader and the Orange have produced no points. The fumble inside the 5-yard line really changed the feel of the game.
Yeah, it did. It just changed the way things were working for them. They were really moving the ball well, doing some things, but that momentum shifted after that play.
Jeff Hafley's first public comments after inserting Emmett Morehead in the lineup. He's on the field with Rebecca.
Thanks, Evan. Well, Coach, we saw Dennis Grosel. We also got to see Emmett Morehead. What's your assessment of your two QBs so far?
I think they both did a good job. We're moving the ball. We just got to score points. Clearly, Emmett made some nice throws down there. It's going to the right guy, so we'll see how he is. I think he got shook up a little bit. We'll see how he is and see what we'll do in the second half.
So will we see him here in the second half, you think?
We'll go in and talk about it. I'll let you know as soon as we come back out.
On the other side of the ball, how is your defense able to shut down Syracuse?
I think the D-line's doing a really good job. The backers are where they're supposed to be, and we're tackling really, really well against an offense that I have a lot of respect for.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. We appreciate Coach Hafley's time. His defense has shut down the Orange in this first half. Defensive struggle, the only points from Hustle in the first half. Elsewhere around the ACC, Miami gets a huge win at Heinz Field. Big win for Manny Diaz and the Canes. Hokies also went on the road. Clemson and Florida State battling down at Death Valley. Wake Forest trying to get to 8-0 for the first time in program history today in Winston-Salem. First game of our doubleheader, of course, was Virginia Tech taking down the Jackets in Atlanta. And for a report on all the details from Bobby Dodd Stadium, let's get you to Tom Wormy and James Bates.
Thanks, Evan. The final from Bobby Dodd Stadium. The Hokies beat the Yellow Jackets 26-17. Coach Fuente celebrates with his team. What a win on the road for Virginia Tech, snapping a 3-game losing streak. The Virginia Tech program overall has now won 5 of the last 6 in visits to Atlanta. Tom and James from our broadcast position here at Bobby Dodd Stadium. Almost 500 yards total offense, and Virginia Tech gets the road victory.
And it's almost Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. And it will be a happy Halloween for Fuente and Virginia Tech Hokie players and fans. In that clip that we showed as we first came on, Dax Holyfield, his linebacker, just over there hugging up his head coach. That's the kind of emotion you get when you've been through what the Hokies have been through in their last win coming over a month ago. And they did it the same way they started this football season, of playing physical, smash-mouth football, old-school football. They did it on the ground. They did it in the trenches. And it's a big win for them on the road today.
What'd you think of Trey Turner? A career day for the receiver for the Hokies. And he set the tone early, James. 69-yard TD reception.
Yeah, opening drive, 69 yards. Look at that, 187 total yards. Most of those coming in the first half. There's his touchdown. The aggressive run after the catch. The nice throw from Burmeister, who seems to be back on, not just tucking the football and running it, but playing within this offense, and thanks in large part to a lot of good running on the ground. But it was Trey Turner's day, the star, the most dynamic player on this offense, getting it done time after time, not just by scoring touchdowns, but on third down conversions. It's going to be a great Halloween after all, Tiny Tim.
26-17 is the final. Let's head back to Evan.
Tom, thanks so much. James Bates, a guy that loves to give a scare into everybody on Halloween. You just know that's got to be true. Wow, so a road win for Miami and a road win for Virginia Tech. Boston College behind us has a road lead at halftime.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If you can go on the road, you can just tell with Fuentes and his people, you can just tell the excitement, because football is a hard game. It's hard to prepare, it's hard to practice, but when you win, man, it's so rewarding. And I think when you look at this Boston College team coming on the road, they talked about it being close in so many games. I think that's the thing you have to look at. On the other side, Syracuse has to figure out a way to get back to what they were doing before that fumble and everything turned for them. Their offense has to go. Garrett Shrader has to get comfortable, and we need a healthy dose of Sean Tucker if you're a Syracuse fan.
Shrader and Tucker were in a groove last week at Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, but they haven't really been able to get it going today. BC's offense not throwing fireworks up either, but they've done enough to get some defensive coordinators. Tony White, Tim Lukabu have to be feeling pretty good about these first half numbers.
They really do. I think when you look at it, the third downs are what I was really paying attention to. And you can see neither team has been efficient there, partly because these defenses have done such a nice job of taking that away or putting them in third and long situations. And you can see the one turnover. So somewhat of a clean game from an offensive perspective from turnovers. But I think it's all these other things that happen, and you can see it. Now as your offense, you have to make some adjustments. You've got to come back this second half and say we need to do things a little bit differently.
There's an unbelievable history of quarterback play in Chestnut Hill, from Flutie to Foley, Hasselbeck to Ryan. It's way too early to say anything definitive about Emmett Morehead, but he was impressive in his limited opportunities. The question now, is he healthy enough to keep going?
You could tell he hadn't played football in a while, but you could still see the arm talent and the ability to get the ball down the field to the receivers. If he's healthy, I think we're going to see him again. And I think the key is now that he's had a chance to see some live action, maybe, not quite where he wanted to be and do some of the things that can come back and make plays after that. Garrett Shrader on the other side has to settle down and they've got to get some completions, because he's had some untimely drops, but he's also missed on some receivers, and let's see if he can do that.
They've been out of sync offensively. Shrader, his receivers, Tucker has been the bright spot. However, he needs some help if the Orange are going to get this win. BC trying to win in the Carrier Dome, their fourth straight meaningful 30 minutes of football ahead here in Central New York. 3-0 Eagles. There's Morehead back on the sidelines. We'll see if he comes out with the BC offense as they receive to begin this third quarter. Homecoming weekend at the Dome. The Orange coming off a huge, thrilling late comeback win in Blacksburg. And they defend their home turf against a hungry BC team here in the second half. Here's Levy from just in front of the goal line, and he's taken down inside the 20. Just a couple minutes to go. Rebecca Fiorentino with Syracuse coach Dino Babers.
Coach, slow start. How do you get the offense going here in the second half?
Well, first of all, we got to settle down. They're doing some things inside, but we got to knock some people out. We've got some new guys in some new positions, but I think they're going to settle down. We're going to be okay.
What have you liked out of your defense holding BC to just 3 points in the first half?
Defense is doing a great job. This game is all based off the second half. They've given us a chance to win. They need to continue what they're doing.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you, Rebecca.
From the 20-yard line, it's Dennis Grosel handing off. Pat Garwo III with a solid first down gain. So we'll see if we get Morehead on the field at all in the second half. Coach Hafley implied that he got dinged pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. You know, if he's not able to go, Grosel is a guy that's done a nice job for your team so far.
Garwo again. First down for Boston College.
Earlier in the season. Now, sometimes when you have a chance to go on the sideline, recompose yourself, and really kind of take a look, that helps you as a player.
Well, he's had some great games for the Eagles, no question about it. Staying on the ground, Garwo across the 35 to about the 37. Sets up second down and 6.
And they're going with a little bit of tempo for them. They're not a team that goes fast, but they're moving at a quicker clip to not allow any substitutions for Syracuse.
This looks reminiscent of the first drive of the game for BC when they came out with this tempo, got it inside the Cuse 40 before stalling and turned it over on downs.
That's that one play there where you bring Zay Flowers. The jet sweep pulls the linebackers just enough, and they're trying to create a little running lane for Garwo where he could just take off. Defense did a nice job on the interior of not letting him get a seam.
Grosel right up to the line on 3rd and 1. Garwo hit at the line of scrimmage, churns forward for the Eagles' first down.
It just seems like if you go back in time, you always have these BC running backs that just, they get hit 1 yard, 2 yards, they grind you. The big offensive lineman coming off, pounding you. You can see where guys are white jerseys on those blue jerseys, pushing them back, just giving Garwo just enough room.
Watched A.J. Dillon do some of that Thursday night with the Packers.
Oh, yes.
What a crazy finish to that game. Grosel, the deep ball. Flowers in the breadbasket. He's got it for Boston College down at the 15.
A huge play by Grosel and Flowers. Talk about it, getting him the football out and up. Defender is there. Deuce Chestnut is there. The leading interceptor on this team, but he couldn't come up with that play.
41 yards. Biggest play of the day for Grosel, and he throws it over C.J. Lewis's head. It's been precariously close to a lateral, but it went out of bounds.
And those are the plays you have to have when you come right back. This pass here. We talked about them not connecting on these plays. That was a really nice throw. Deuce Chestnut never turned around. Flowers with the huge catch.
So Grosel now has a 41-yarder. Morehead had a 44-yarder back in the first half. Second down from the 16. Sinkfield to the 11, sets up third down.
The other thing I like about these receivers, they don't mind getting dirty, getting grimy, so to speak. C.J. Lewis comes over and is the edge blocker, which usually the tight end does. He does a nice job there. They're unselfish players in the run game.
In the CPI security red zone. 3rd and 5. Grosel with the air, completes it. Flowers, the first down at the 4. First and goal for BC.
It looks like what BC is doing on this drive is not letting Tony White and his defense get comfortable, come down with different things. They're getting the ball out quick, and that's why you're picking up these first downs. Now you've got to capitalize. You need 7 and not 3.
Flowers over 100 yards receiving now. Sinkfield just lost a bundle. Fell down to the 9.
I know it's weird, folks, but number 0 is going to show up. Big 0 is just going to come in here and just, I mean, he manhandles the center. Alec Lindstrom had no chance. 72 versus 0. I'd say check mark to McKinley Williams, a bear. He looked like a bear there. He was hunting for something.
Some ferocity from the nose guard. Bear Williams. Grosel losing more yards in the backfield. Stephon Thompson, his second sack of the day.
When you bring pressure inside, the quarterback clock goes too fast. You're going to have inside, then you see guy come right there. That Stephon Thompson, Baron Williams does McKinley.
Almost knocked the football out there.
I mean, they come over, and that allows you to bring that guy all the way from the outside. They've done this consistently. Tony White has dialed up what Rocky Long used to do all the time.
From 1st and goal at the 4 to 3rd and goal from the 11. Levy gonna block this play. It's Grossell throwing short to the tight end, Spencer Witter. Just the 2nd catch of the year for Witter. And the field goal team's coming on to try and double the lead.
Man, I got excited about defense. I'm an offensive guy. Jeff Hafley's a defensive guy. Even though it's happening against him, I mean, these guys have come off the football and said, look, you're in my red zone. You're trying to get my fridge. I'm not letting you eat right here. You're going to have to kick a field goal.
This will be a 24-yard try for Connor Litton out of the hold of John Tessitore. And it's 6-0. So Grossell works the Eagles down the field, hit the deep ball for Flowers. And Dino Babers' team, they're going to win this game. They're going to need at least a touchdown. Available at WorksNitro.com. Boston College now in front of Dino Babers' Orange 6-0, but the Syracuse defense did stand tall. BC at 1st and goal inside the 5 and then went backwards and had to settle for 3. Looks like an intentionally short kick. Courtney Jackson not going to get to the 25. He'll be stopped around the 21.
Hey, Evan, some people don't like defense, but I love it. When you got guys that are making plays like this, come up, rally to the football, don't let them get any extra yards, and then Bear McKinley just manhandling people. He doesn't get the play, but he makes the play by forcing the quarterback outside. And then they come back again with Stephon Thompson, and then Witter, you catch the ball, son. You catch it, but we got 7 defenders that you got to run through. That's what you talk about, rallying, bringing a hat to the football. That's a good job by the defensive coordinator, Tony White.
And you would say that even if he didn't go to UCLA.
Well, that's just a byproduct, but like we talked on the call this week, his affinity for Rocky Long's 3-3-5 is what really has helped this team. Tony Gibson does it 3-3-5 as well, but it's not from the Rocky tree. But if you have ever seen any West Coast football or you know about Rocky Long, he coaches this thing, and man, if it's run right, it is hard to get yards against.
Shrader keeping it himself on 1st down, picked up 3. Fakes the pitch to Tucker, goes to the left and has some room. Biggest run of the day for Shrader.
Sometimes he needs a big run to become a thrower again. Look at this play. Everything going to Sean Tucker. Get everybody moving. Eye discipline is wrong. Gap filling is wrong by the safety. When you're in the alley, you got to make that play. You cannot let the quarterback get by you. Maitre misses, and that allows Shrader to get comfortable.
13-yard carry for Shrader. Stepping up again, running it again. A 1st down again.
Talk about a guy just having it. Sometimes, you know, 50-some% passer, oh, that's not good. But this is what it looks like. You got your offensive line blocking. You know pressure's coming. You find people, and at 6'4", 230, he still can move very well. And that's the thing that you saw with this kid when he was in high school. Now you see it as him as a grown man with a full-grown beard.
It's a great beard. It really is. He got the wind knocked out of him, of course. 19 seconds left last week when he threw the game-winning touchdown pass, 45 yards to Alford. Here's Tucker up the middle. He's going to go. Sean Tucker takes it all the way, 51 to tie the game.
Man, when your defense holds and you got 2 back-to-back big plays by your quarterback, who do you go to? The quiet assassin, Sean Tucker, taking it home. That was a huge play, and that's what we've been talking about all day. Look at the interior. Offensive line blocked up. Boom, good block right there. You take it to the house. The defensive backfield is out of position, and Tucker runs and finishes. Ooh, that was a big play.
Over 100 yards for the 7th consecutive game, extending his Syracuse record. And Andre Schmidt on the field for the first time today to give Syracuse the lead. 7-6 on homecoming weekend at the Carrier Dome. The Orange in front for the first time.
When you have a guy that can make plays, you give him the ball and you let him go to
give Syracuse their first lead of the day. It's time for the drive, brought to you by Land Rover. 4 plays, 79 yards, all on the ground.
2 big runs by Garrett Shrader put them in position. He didn't have anything anywhere to throw the football. But if your run game is there, it works whether your quarterback is doing it or your offensive linemen love it. They just lock guys up, and you can see interior blocking, and then Tucker taking it to the house.
Rebecca's got more on Tucker.
Yeah, guys, you could credit Tuck's running ability to his high school indoor and outdoor track days. He was a sprinter for Calvert Hall indoor and outdoor track teams, where he won the indoor title in the 55-meter dash 2 years in a row to champion in the 100 and 200-meter sprints as a junior. He told me he does track workouts, working on the technical side of things, and the explosiveness of track translates to the football field as well. In his Instagram bio, it says Sweat Demon, and he says that's what his high school track teammates called themselves. So watch out. A weekend.
The silent assassin's all right, but the Sweat Demon is really good. On the kickoff return, it's Levy, and he will plunge toward the 25-yard line. I mean, Tucker, the second member of Syracuse's class of 2020. It's crazy. I mean, he played all but 1 game last year, and he's played every game this year, and he's just going to be a sophomore next year, but
yeah, he's got a lot of talent. I mean, Dino Babers is effusive in his praise. And that's the one thing I'll tell kids when they ask me, what should I do when I'm playing sports? If you don't like baseball or basketball, but you're a football player, run track. Get out there and run track because it makes you so much more explosive when you get on the football field.
How will Dennis Grossell and the Eagles offense respond? BC keeps it on the ground with Pat Garwo.
Now they have to find a way to get those explosive. We talk about them not having the knack for explosive plays. That huge play to Zay Flowers last drive put them in position. They need to do that again and break.
BC's biggest running play of the day, courtesy of Emmett Morehead, the 11-yarder in the first half. And Grossell threw a bounce pass over to Flowers to set up 3rd and 5.
He actually better off doing that because he would have got picked off.
Coming up later in the game, we've got the 4th, presented by CPI Security. The Loud House living up to its name right now. Third and 5. Deep ball. Flowers. No, sir. 4th down.
Those are we talk about football being a game of inches. It could be game of inches or yards. You've got the protection that you need. Everybody locked up. These are the things, just throw it there so he can catch it. The great late Homer Smith would always talk about, that should be the throw that you make. Those are the ones where you give your receiver a chance. Grossell didn't give his receiver a chance to make a play. And after a huge touchdown last time, that can hurt you. Those are the momentum shifters.
Eagles go 3 and out. Jackson catches the Carlson punt in his 20 and picks up 4. No Trevor Pena today. The ACC's Panthers, their first ACC loss. 12:30 next Saturday on your regional sports network, the Jackets and the Canes.
Yeah, saw the Canes earlier this year against Central Connecticut State. And, of course, they beat them badly, but the thing is, you could see the explosive impact players that Miami has. It finally looks like it's starting to turn, but we'll see.
Van Dyke making some things happen.
Yeah, he has. He really has. Felt bad for De'Aaron King the way his season went, but next man up mentality clearly happening down there in Miami.
On a lot of places around the league, the quarterbacks that you expected to be the guy coming into the season. Phil Jurkovec at BC, De'Aaron King in Miami, DeVito here at Syracuse.
Exactly.
Garrett Shrader gives it to Tucker. And he's wrapped up by Valdez, among others.
But it always seems like he's getting 5 or 6 yards each carry, right? The way this offense is designed, you have to respect 16, but 34 is the one that you have to know where he is. You got to have, if he goes to the bathroom, you're following him in the bathroom saying, I'm right here. You got to know where he is at all times.
That's a little creepy to put it like that.
But I'm just saying, I'm putting it in your head that you got to follow him wherever he goes.
Shrader back to the air, completes this one. Devon Cooper as his first catch of the day. Coming off his best game of the season, 4 catches, 36 yards last week in Blacksburg.
But what it does is it allows Garrett Shrader to get comfortable. This is the easiest throw you can make in football. Play catch. Just pitch and catch. What you did with your dad when you were a little kid. Throw the ball, receive it back. That's the things that gets him comfortable again.
Syracuse now over 200 yards offensively in the game, and it's Tucker powering toward midfield. He'll come up a yard short. They'll spot at the 49, but he picked up 6.
Vinny DePalma right there in the mix. You got those linebackers who have to show up big, even though Isaiah Graham-Mobley is out. You got Cam Arnold, Vinny DePalma, Bryce Steele. Can they hold down Shrader and Tucker in the second half?
Well, I think about it. Basically 3 key offensive players out for Syracuse, and arguably the top 2 guys in the second and third levels for BC's defense are out, with Graham Mobley and Sebastian both being unavailable. Graham Mobley got hurt in practice earlier this week, and Jeff Hafley was told by the trainer after practice, IGM, out for this week. What are you talking about? I just saw him practice. Something happened. He went to the training room and upper body injury.
Well, those are the things that hurt you the most, because as a coach, you have everything figured out. And that's your leading tackler on the team with 46 tackles on the year, the instant presence. But then you have to have other guys step up.
By the way, Sean Tucker needs 4 more yards to pass by Kenneth Walker, who got a huge win with Michigan State to stay unbeaten. Here's Shrader down the sideline, the big QB, gonna take it all the way. Touchdown, Syracuse. 48 yards for Shrader.
Evan, this play, Garrett Shrader made a huge play, but I'm going to tell you, Max Main, watch his block on the edge. Watch 47 come across and annihilate 97 Marcus Valdez. That opens up the lane. Pressure point, pipes bust, Garrett Shrader goes to the house. Wow. 47 comes over and has a huge block. He's been doing it all day, but right there was a key one to spring Garrett Shrader.
Cam Arnold, the last BC defender to have a chance, couldn't get him. So after trailing 3-0 at the half and falling behind 6-0 at the start of the third, 2 straight big play rush touchdowns for Dino Babers' Orange offense.
And that's the thing about Shrader. They were worried about his ability to run downhill. That time he got outside and was able to go to the house.
Schmidt tacks on the point after.
I want you to see this, because this is the thing of beauty. 47 here is going to come across and annihilate the edge. And Marcus Valdez is there, right there. You see, he's going after Tucker, but Max Main knows he's there. Offensive line does a good job of sealing it off, and Garrett Shrader runs to the house.
No one else home for the BC defense.
It was one of those things where you get to the edge, so much attention is paid on Tucker, and Garrett Shrader, you got to keep an eye on him.
All of a sudden, Shrader has another rushing touchdown, his 13th of the season. Malik Cunningham from Louisville leads the ACC in the nation with 13 rushing touchdowns.
Well, they were worried about the ability with the legs, and Garrett Shrader had a couple of passes that he was able to complete. But look how he's changed the game with his ability in the run game.
Yep. I mean, it's been a forgettable day for Shrader passing. He's 5 of 14. But now 12 for 77 on the ground. Tuck is 16 for 131. And the Eagles offense needs to respond. Otherwise, it's going to be the first 4-game losing streak of the Hafley era in Chestnut Hill.
And they don't play well coming from behind. That's the other thing. You know, some teams have it and they can do it. It doesn't look like we're going to see Emmett Morehead anymore today. So Grossell, well, he may be coming back. Okay. As soon as I say that, I look down and Morehead appears.
The true freshman seeing his first college football action today. California kid. His bio lists one of his passions, as you would expect. He's a surfer. But with that hair, he's got to be.
Well, he was, you know, not able to play in California. His family moved to Virginia. 3-star guy. His high school, his senior season was wiped out due to COVID. And now he's here at Boston College.
His first college football snap playing from behind. The dome has gotten louder. Tucking and running, trying to stiff arm. The ball came out. Out of bounds. The Eagles will maintain possession.
Yeah, the one thing is he sees I got to get out. My clock has to go quicker. Being chased. Gets out of bounds before he loses the ball. Curtis Harper on the chase.
No gain on the play. 2nd and 10. Morehead's now 3 for 7. And the pressure's coming and gets there. Another huge play for the veteran from Baltimore, Kingsley Jonathan.
They only brought 3. They brought 3. Kingsley Jonathan is going against Jack Conley. Conley couldn't block him. Watch 9 there. Jack Conley thinks he's outside, but he takes too wide of a step. His kick step is way too wide, and his guard is not able to come over and help him.
Eagles are missing Tyler Vrabel right now.
Yes, they are.
What's the playbook for 3rd and 17 and a true freshman quarterback?
Keep your tight end in to help out a little bit.
Witter throws a block, then goes out in the pattern. Deep ball and a double coverage, and what a block. Garrett Williams went up to knock it down. Flowers was not open, and yet the pass almost got there anyway, if not for Williams.
Well, you see the adjustment that Frank Cignetti made. He said, okay, Witter, you stay in here, but then there's no chance, and that was a heck of a play by Garrett Williams. You talk about a kid that can ball. They talk about him and Tuck being the two future stars here at Syracuse. Well, they both seem like they've already arrived.
Courtney Jackson from his own 35. Look out! Jackson to the 40. Carlson can't get him. Courtney Jackson to the house. "65 yards.
I've played a lot of football in my life, and when you start getting it going, you get it on offense. You get a little bit on defense. That defense started it, right? But that play right there, when you get a punt returner that can take it to the house, everybody's going to get involved in it. And that was the thing they needed. Having Pena out, Courtney Jackson catch the ball, secure it, making sure you make the first guy miss. You set the wall is over there. Kicker's not going to catch me. I'm going to the house. I'm telling everybody in the stands, my mama sees me, my grandmama sees me, my auntie, everybody, when you get to the house like that.
That's 3 touchdowns in the last 7 minutes for Syracuse after they trailed 6-0. And my, has the tone of this game changed in the last 6:53.
Well, this is what you have as BC is held up. That's the first thing. Stop right there. He has 2 guys to beat. If he beats those guys, all of this area over there is clear. And he's able to get there because of the blocking that was done before and at the end. There's no one there to stop him but the official. And the official gets out of the way to make the call for touchdown. It is one of those things when you get the opportunity like that, it just makes it so much easier.
I don't know if we'll see that replay again. The ball kid down there was doing high steps as Courtney Jackson went to the end zone near that left sideline pylon. The ball kid, not an unbiased observer.
I mean, he was running as fast as Courtney was, and then Courtney caught him and passed him. Wow.
3 minutes remaining in the third. Look, BC has time to make a move, but the offense is going to need to string some good plays, first downs together. They'll start from the 25.
Jeff Hafley talked about it, though. He said this thing can change quickly, and we've got to make sure we keep them quiet and calm them down. And basically, he's talking about this stadium because they've had some success here. They've been able to really do it really nice. Watch the ball boy along with Courtney Jackson. Look at him. He's going to high step. Look, he's calling him. Look. Oh, man.
That might be a come on, man, in a couple days.
Oh, it wasn't pretty by him. No. But it was really nice by Courtney.
Morehead back out there. He'll give it to Garwo. And the Eagles could use a big play in the run game like what Syracuse has gotten from Tucker and Shrader.
Yeah, you need something to happen for your offense to get right. You haven't been there since you got in the red zone. You didn't come away with points. Now's your opportunity to turn this tide. You got to score some points here.
On 2nd and 5, Garwo again found a seam up the middle and picks up 9. It'll be a new set of downs for BC, but first a quick word from Works.
Meet Works Nitro. Powerful tools for any project with gas-like power without the gas. Fueled by PowerShare batteries to give you the power to outperform.
Talking about the power to perform, the Syracuse offense has found something here in the second half. Gashing BC for a couple huge touchdowns on the ground, one more in special teams.
Well, what BC now needs is their offense. Their defense has gotten, on their heels. Your offense now has to help. This is when you talk about a team. Your special teams gave up a huge play, but now on offense, you got to answer.
Well said. Another good first down play on the ground. This time, Garwo drilled in the backfield. Cody Roscoe.
This defensive front man has played really well. Every time you think Garwo is getting ready to go or Travis Levy, they are able to make a play on both of those guys.
4 of the 6 super seniors on the Syracuse team are on the D-line. John Flack, Bear Williams, Kingsley Jonathan, Cody Roscoe. We've called out all those guys' names today.
A bunch of times.
In a strange way, this play feels like the game for BC. I mean, there's 16 minutes to go. 3rd and 4. Morehead floats it downfield, finds C.J. Lewis. A gap in the defense. And a huge play for the Eagles when they desperately needed it.
Hey, the young fella right there showed a little moxie. I like it. He had pressure coming. It was only free rush, and he said, look, I'm going to have to help my offensive line out. I'm going to have to help everyone out. Watch all this pressure coming, and he just stands in the face of it. Doesn't get all of it into it, but he knows where his receiver is. Nice job by C.J. Lewis. That was a huge play for Boston College.
28 yards to Lewis. And the ball from the 27, quick out to the right side, and Jalen Gill gets upended immediately by Deuce Chestnut.
Deuce with a huge play, but I'm going to highlight the fact that C.J. Lewis doesn't get the block. Deuce Chestnut makes a heck of a play, but you need to help your homeboy out, C.J. You got to help him on that, and that was a huge play by Deuce Chestnut.
Freshman from Camden, New Jersey. 3 down, 1 to go. All orange over the final 9:53 of the third. What's going to happen in the fourth? And we welcome you into the fourth. Brought to to you by CPI Security. The Orange were down 6-0, Charles Arbuckle. But Sean Tucker with 51 yards of offense to get him going. Across the finish line to the score, and it's all Syracuse since then.
Hey, you have your offensive line, your tight ends, your running back blocking, and then Garrett Shrader, he was struggling in the pass game. He doesn't struggle when he runs the football, takes it to the house.
They did it on offense in the second half. They did it on defense in the first half. How about a little special teams? No Trevor Pena. Courtney Jackson returning punts, making a name for himself.
Complimentary football at its best. All areas making plays, and Courtney Jackson taking it to the house and a punt return that was set up because your guys did what they needed to do at the line of scrimmage to allow you to do that.
Syracuse scored 3 touchdowns in a 7-minute span. And when we come back, the Eagles will have a huge third down coming up.
They're playing well. Let's see if they can continue it on this drive.
Homecoming weekend from the Carrier Dome. Halloween weekend. We got a huge fourth quarter coming up. These longtime Northeast rivals playing for pride and, more importantly, their 5th wins of the year. This has been the 4th for 15 in the Loud House. Will be a second down after Jalen Gill lost one because C.J. Lewis could not block Deuce Chestnut on the final play of the third. Evan Lepler, Charles Arbuckle, Rebecca Fiorentino, and Pat Garwo bursting up the middle to set up 3rd and short.
Yeah, that was a nice, calming run. You know, when the crowd is loud, or when you're trying to go to sleep, you need some white noise. That right there, that run, what Garwo did is allow this offense now to have a shorter distance on 3rd down.
Is this 4-down territory here?
I think so.
What does a field goal do for you? Garwo again broke through one tackle, and he'll push across that yellow line to get a new set of downs for the Eagles. That's a tough run there.
Oh, yeah. You talk about Tucker running hard. Garwo doing the same thing, taking on 2 defenders. And you would think Cody Roscoe has him, but he just keeps those legs moving. Take a look at this to see if he got there.
They are going to measure it.
And that's a smart call if you're Syracuse. Force them to look at it and really see if it's a 1st down.
You know, this with where they spot the football, if he got it, he only got it by the nose.
I thought he had it clearly, but the yellow line again is not the most accurate. It's what we think it is, but this is going to be
unofficial.
Yeah, it's unofficial.
No, he's short. A foot short.
Well, and I think here, this is if you're Jeff Hafley and your crew, you say, look, we can get a half an inch. They're going for this.
Do you trust the 6'5" freshman who's never sneaked before in a college game?
Yeah, I think you gotta take off everything now and let him go. He's the key guy here. If that's what they're going to do, this quarterback sneak has to happen, and they got to do it quick and find the area in that defensive line.
Well, Syracuse has a sense of what's coming. They got about 11 guys in the box, and Jeff Hafley's going to take a timeout to talk this one over, I think.
I think he was pointing like something was going on with the clock. Because they were rushing, and I don't think he wanted them to rush. That's a smart move by Coach Hafley.
Well, after the measurement, they need to reset the play clock to 25. Adding a few seconds to the game clock.
Well, those are the things that I think people overlook, the little things like that. Because if you're rushed to do this and you don't get it, you'll go back and say, why didn't we? You have to be proactive with some of those things.
Former BC coach Steve Adazio knows what you're talking about, as do the fans at Colorado State. On 4th and short, Garwo gets enough. 1st down for BC.
Well, the thing is, Garwo did what you're supposed to do. He, instead of going over the top, he went under. Watch, you're going to have a good push on the interior. Now, He was lucky Alec Lindstrom wasn't where his aiming point because he got pushed back again. But there was enough space in there for him to get that first down.
Snap over the head of Morehead. And he's very fortunate to recover the football. But the play started at the 15, and that's minus 22 on the play.
Yeah, Lindstrom has struggled to play before, and then he has a bad snap because he's trying to get, he knows he has responsibility to his left. And you can see the ball fire away. He's a right-handed guy. Now, I've deep snap before, and that's why I was always the backup long snap, because of plays like that. You got to have a secure snap to your quarterback every single play.
Yikes. 2nd and 32. You just had it at the 15. You don't want to play for a field goal here. Pressure coming. He gets rid of it, and it's incomplete. Intended for Levy.
Yeah, the edge rushers are realizing now, hey, he only has so many things he can do, and you got to get the ball out quicker. And Kingsley Jonathan, his eyes lit up. On the outside, he's coming around again from your right. Jack Conley almost grabbing him to bring him down. Does not allow Morehead even a chance to get the ball to Travis Levy.
If you're a Syracuse leader, you remind yourselves, no holding penalties, no 5-yard penalties to give him a first down on 3rd and 32. Keep the ball in front of you. Eagles got to get it to the 5 for a first down. Pressure coming again. Jonathan got there again.
Hey, man, we've all had bad days at the office, and I feel bad for Jack Conley, excuse me. But Kingsley Jonathan realizes that, and they're coming off that edge. This side right here is where it's happened. It's happened, and every time they're in 3rd and long, 2nd and long, it's a one-on-one matchup. Earlier, you tried to slide some protection over, but Kingsley Jonathan was like, hey, look, I'm out of B-more, man. And when I smell it, I'm going to get it.
Tyler Vrabel, the starting left tackle, banged up this season. Went out earlier in the game, and Jonathan has feasted on his replacement at the left tackle spot, Jack Conley. Carlson's punt bounces into the end zone. Dino Babers' team was down 6-zip. That feels like eons ago. Syracuse leading by 15 points, and look at the 3rd quarter blitz. They didn't need a lot of plays to get 21 points, Buck.
No, there were some explosive plays that they needed to have, and they got them quickly.
Sean Tucker, the nation's leading rusher. Sprinting from 51, the former track star, crossing the tape. And then Shrader.
Yeah, the much maligned offensive line moving around has finally been able to find some key ability to block for both Tucker and Shrader. Punt return game, you got to have it. And you make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And
if you count the punt.
Yeah. And then you also have a high-stepping ball person on the outside, but you get to the house. That was a huge play for the Syracuse special teams.
Well, their strength is on the ground, and presumably they'll try to keep it right there and turn some clock here in the 4th. Back to Sean Tucker. That's his 17th carry of the day. Over 100 yards, Buck, for the 131 yards, 7th straight game over the century mark.
Yeah, the other thing is, you figure he's going to get about 25 touches, right? Whether it's receiving and rushing. And I think that's the one thing he's able to do. He makes plays whenever the ball is in his hands. Hadn't had a catch today, but he has been such a weapon in the run game.
Average 2 catches a game so far this year. He's got a couple touchdowns as a receiver, but doing his work on the ground today. Tucker again makes a man miss. Another man goes flying, and Sean Tucker with another gigantic play for the Orange.
I think I've already told you my Marshall Faulk story, but I'm going to tell it again. The first day he showed up at practice, he was 2 weeks late. you're used to blocking for somebody, and you can kind of hear them, and they're slow. But this was like whoosh. Look at these guys blocking, and then the whoosh you see right there from Sean. The little stutter step by Sean Tucker. The blocks out front, because the receivers know if I block, he may go all the way to the house. Marshall Faulk showed up on the first day, and we knew he was special. I'm going to say it again. I saw it last year. Sean Tucker showed up at Syracuse, and we know he's special.
41 yards, 173 now in the game. And Devon Cooper is going to get some DAC in the film room, because he was still blocking 35 yards
yes,
downfield.
He was.
Tucker again, bursting through the line of scrimmage, picks up 6.
And the other thing, Evan, that he does is that shoulder turn. Marcus Valdez had a chance on 97, big body at 265 pounds, but Tucker with the ability to move his shoulders, but also the speed, man. When he's in a rhythm now, you can tell he's feeling it. And Garrett Shrader's like, hey, man, let me just give you the ball, or I'll pull it, and I try to run it.
Tucker was passed by Kenneth Walker earlier this afternoon. He's gone to the number 1 spot again. Bijan Robinson, the Texas Stars, in the 3 spot. Pretty fun race if you follow that. And Tucker held up this time to create a 3rd and 5. Tucker's coming to the sidelines. Cooper Lutz will replace him on 3rd down.
TJ Ram with a nice tackle in the backfield.
The crowd was applauding Sean Tucker's effort as he came off the field, and the offensive linemen were like, okay, we hear you, Loud House, but we're on offense. It's a big 3rd down. They were waving the noise down a bit. Orange need 5. I had a feeling Shrader was going to run this, and he is going to get 3, maybe 2.
Hey, you and the entire Boston College defense. That was a call with the empty backfield where you say, quarterback, you pick where you want to go. Now they're in kind of no man's land, and I would expect that they would go for it here on 4th down.
The only reason why you wouldn't, if you kick a field goal, you're up by 18. That's 3 scores.
But again, with the field goal range, right, you're a little bit out of it, just to touch. I mean, I know.
It's also a chance to maybe let Andre Schmidt gain some confidence in a situation where if he misses it, your defense is still playing well. They're going for it. Pressure's coming off the edge. Shrader taken down. Cam Arnold unblocked. And the Eagles offense will take over with just over 8 to play.
I like the thought, but I hate the decision of what Shrader does here. He can't get outside, but Cam Arnold comes off the edge, and it's a really nice play by Boston College.
Still a 2-possession game. Eagles back on offense. They'll take over points as we go down to the sidelines with Rebecca.
Well, you guys, it is Halloween weekend. So, of course, I had to ask what some of their favorite Halloween costumes were for some of these players. And I got some adorable answers. We've got Boston College's Alec Lindstrom as the cutest Batman. Look at this. Josh Black from Syracuse in his pumpkin costume. But then, of course, my favorite answer was of Jaden Woodby, but from Boston College. He told me when he was 5 years old, his mom let him wear his Halloween costume to school. The next day, he snuck it in his backpack and changed into it when he got to school, and he got in trouble, but it was his favorite costume and one of his favorite memories.
Great stuff. And that's proof that Alec Lindstrom used to be a petite dude. I mean, when he was a high school freshman, he wrestled at 98 pounds. About 200 more than that now. Emmett Morehead back in there, throws it incomplete. Eagles down by 15 with 8 minutes to play.
Yeah, he's really, with this defense, he's got a nose guard usually lined up on him. So it's a battle every single play, and the wrestling helps. But there's sometimes you're going to lose that battle. Between Terry Lockett and McKinley Williams, you're in a dogfight.
Lockett in there now on the nose for the Syracuse defense. Morehead throws it off target, looking for Spencer Witter.
Yeah, he didn't have his feet set either. And, you know, part of it has been he's been pressured a lot. And I think that's part of his clock going a little too fast. It looks like they moved made some adjustments with the offensive line again.
Jeff Hafley and his staff are very excited for what Morehead can be. They think he can be on par with Phil Jurkovec a few years from now.
Yeah, Ozzie Trapillo is in at left guard, and then they slid Zion Johnson. Steve Trapillo, the late Steve Trapillo, and I played at New Orleans. His son is at left guard now.
And, well, Alec Lindstrom didn't know the snap count, or the other four guys didn't know the snap count.
Offensive line, 5-yard penalty, third down.
This crowd gets after it, and I think the thing is, you're right, the O-line, all were moving. and these are some of the things, too. He's telling them, go silent count. We don't need to do all that because we can't hear you anyway. I like that. That's a heads-up thing for a leader.
How would you characterize how fast things are moving right now for Emmett?
It slowed down a little bit, but now it's picked back up because now this Syracuse team really smells it.
They're coming for him again on 3rd and 15. Eagles do a better job of picking it up. And that ball deflected in a massive collision, and the ball's incomplete.
Yeah, that was a big collision. 2 Syracuse guys down now.
Arlo Wax slow to get up, looking for Sinkfield out of the backfield, who had stayed in the block.
Well, and I think, too, the big thing is...
Garrett Williams got drilled by Sinkfield unintentionally.
Yeah, I mean, Sinkfield trying to go up for the ball. Man, tough shot.
And yet it's Wax that still helped off the field. You can follow my man Charles Arbuckle on Twitter. He guaranteed before the game that this would include plenty of physicality. This might have been what you meant.
Yeah, and they both collide, but Wax even before it was an awkward move that he made as he was coming forward. And that was the thing. Before they even collided, he looked like he pulled up a little bit on his leg, and Williams took the brunt of some of that from Sinkfield. So fortunately, all the guys were able to walk away from that. It's a violent game, man. Just tell them. Sometimes I wonder how, when we were on the field, they were coming out. I'm trying to protect you because the guys are running. I'm like, look, man, I can't move right now like you can. Let's get out of the way.
As an ordinary civilian who loves to watch it but never played it, it's mind-blowing what players put themselves through. Admirable as well. Courtney Jackson's not going to get a chance to return this one. And it's a nice bounce for Grant Carlson. The bad news for BC is that 3 of their last 6 drives have ended in negative yards gained for Jeff Hafley's offense.
Well, clearly they knew with a young quarterback and an offensive line that was a little shaky when you lost Vrabel, that put them in harm's way, and they haven't really been able to get any rhythm. And what it's done for Syracuse is it has allowed them to run the football, settle down, and we talked about it. Shrader had to throw the ball better, but they've been able to run it really effectively.
Jeff Hafley was amused a little bit as to how the story kind of mushroomed in Boston this past week. Will you look at the quarterback position? We'll look at the film hard. We'll study it hard. Have you decided what you're going to do with the quarterback position? Yeah, I've decided. I've told the team. Was it a hard decision? No, it wasn't a hard decision. They still kind of treated it like we didn't know who was going to start. I think if it was a hard decision, maybe we would have seen someone else at the start of the game, but they also knew that they wanted to play somebody else, and true freshman Emmett Morehead leapfrogging over Dalen Menard and Matthew Reevy, who were listed as 2 and 3 in the depth chart.
Well, now that we've got a little bit of a sample size of Morehead, you can see the potential.
Sure.
But
you can also see the wrongness.
Yeah, and just the other thing with if your offensive line isn't playing quite as well, or, it's a lot of factors that go into it. And I think that's what is going to help all of those quarterbacks there. But Morehead, now that he's got some experience, you can go and coach it to help him even get better and be more effective.
They are missing number 5.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Not to mention Tyler Vrabel, number 78. Tucker going nowhere there, and it will be 3rd down. Barlow making a play in the backfield.
And I'll say this in Jack Conley's defense. He's usually a right tackle. When you move him over to left tackle, man, it's a whole different thing. I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you from a football perspective, I know that's a hard position.
Very different question, but as a tight end, were you more comfortable blocking from the right side compared to the left side or vice versa?
Not really. I was a left-handed guy, so either one were pretty comfortable for me, but It's just different if you're taking on these speed rushers on the edge. And that's where I saw them doing it a little bit, chipping to help him out some, because it's hard. Even when they're rushing free, if there's a talented individual on the outside, it's hard for you to keep up with them.
Shrader keeps it, scampers out to the 10. John Tucker, by the way, now 20 yards shy of 200 for the game. 22 for 180, but Syracuse is going to punt right here.
Let's give Boston College a lot of credit on that defensive series. They did a nice job of containing Tucker and Shrader. They're going to get the ball back pretty quick, 3 and out. They needed that because it's still 5:30, 5:40, 5:32. And they need to get some points right away. And the field position has shifted after that last long punt.
Hills at midfield. I mean, it's still a 2-possession game. If the Eagles can get a big play in special teams, they'll have an opportunity to at least threaten Syracuse late. Returnable for Gill from his 47. Good initial move. Looks like an instant replay so far. The Courtney Jackson return. He's not going to get to the end zone, but he's going to set up Boston College from the 20. No flags on the field.
Huge play by Gill of setting that up and getting to the wall. Syracuse knew he was there, but he got over quick and made some plays.
Final 5 coming up from the Carrier Dome. Eagles with some offensive momentum, trailing by 15 as the Orange 6. Our 5-star drive summary brought to you by Yellowwood. This is the last 2 scoring drives from scrimmage for the Orange. A 51-yard run for Tucker, a 48-yard scoring run for Shrader.
Yeah, the 2 opposite ends of the personality spectrum, right. But very much aligned in the touchdown perspective. These guys have worked really well together, and I think when Garrett Shrader came here, having a Sean Tucker as your security blanket, so to speak, really helps you. It just makes you comfortable, and it allows you to just play at the level you need to.
Emmett Morehead staying on the sideline. Jeff Hafley's going back to Grossell after the 33-yard punt return for Jalen Gill. On that last play on the return, Jamin Muse was shaken up. He's getting looked at on the sidelines right now for BC. So back to the former walk-on on scholarship, packed up Jerkovic, 6th-year leader. Flowers to the 9.
So, Evan, I think now your players have to make plays. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Your offensive line has to block, and you have to protect now Zion Johnson, who's out there, if you need to. Make sure you do everything you can to give this young man a chance to make plays for you.
Grossell in rhythm. Overthrows Gill in the end zone.
And he had a shorter receiver. Travis Levy was wide open, and I thought he was going to go there on the crossing route. 23 is coming across. You're going to see one, Gill, but then Levy leaks out of the backfield, and there's no one covering. You see down there at the top of your screen, He was wide open, and I think that was where he probably should have gone.
BC's 3rd time in the red zone today. They've been held to field goals the last 2, but now it's Witter to the 2.
Yeah, walk-on guy, missed the last 2 weeks with the ankle injury. He is the receiving tight end. He can block, but he's the guy, and I love the number 81. Unfortunately, I wore 81, so I like it.
Fake the give to Levy. Grossell on 3rd down, looking for Witter. It's incomplete.
Yeah, this is a perfect play for them. Syracuse knew they were going to try to boot it out, and you do it to this side of the field. You work one way, come back the other. But look at all those defenders for Syracuse. You see them? If you just toss that ball right there, because you're coming back inside as a tight end, you're taught stay behind that. Let those 3 defenders move, and then just hit me with the football.
May have actually been intended for Flowers. He and Witter were right next to each other. All right, 4th and goal. Eagles need a touchdown. Grossell gives it to Levy, and he did not get there. Syracuse up front, standing strong.
What did I tell you about physicality? That right there shows you. Levy says, I'm going to try to pull my way into the end zone. Syracuse says no, not right here. And this is a huge play. Levy looks like he has a chance to score. And then it just closes up. This front seven, front six, whatever you want to call it, again, just shows the penetration. All blue jerseys there. And as much as BC prides itself on physicality, that was one right there by Syracuse.
Michael Jones standing his ground and letting the rest of the defenders swarm. Jeff Flanagan, our referee, is taking a look at the images provided by DV Sport. But I didn't see anything on our replay that indicated the ball crossed the plane of the end zone.
Initially, when he started, I was thinking, uh-oh, he may get there. But then all of a sudden, it just kind of closed up on him. And you're right. Michael Jones, who we highlighted, 74 tackles coming into today's ball game, had 10 tackles versus Clemson. I've called his name a lot today.
Confirmed. First down.
I'm sure he had double digits today as well. He has been all over the football along with those 3 downs. Kingsley Jonathan, Bear McKinley Williams, and Josh Black, along with the host of others. Cody Roscoe. They have played so well up front against this Boston College offense.
Still got 4:13 to go, and look, the Orange need to be careful here.
Yes.
Very close to their goal line, inside the 1. These two teams will have very different weeks ahead. Syracuse, after 9 straight games, going to get a weekend off. Shrader going to keep it, and he's got a hole, and he finds some breathing room out to the 10. Meanwhile, Boston College has a short week. They play Friday night back at Alumni Stadium against Virginia Tech.
The contain is completely gone when Sean Tucker goes into the middle of the field. When you do that, Bryce Steele has to be the edge guy, and when he doesn't, Garrett Shrader takes advantage of him on the edge.
Orange now with over 250 yards on the ground today. 258 on the ground. They had 314 Blacksburg last week. ACC's top rushing offense. Started slow today, Buck. They were down 3-0 at halftime. It was 6-zip early in the third. But then something clicked. Tucker's big play seemed to open everything up.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a home run hitter, you want to give him the ball. You want to make sure that your offensive line comes off and they do a nice job of opening up that hole. But when you have track speed, you know how to run with the football. He gets it inside. Look, he's going to the house. Lay the hammer down and finish. Get to the finish line. Okay, there you go. That's another touchdown for you. And his ability to run and finish runs is what I love.
We should give a shout out to the center, the guy in the middle of everything. Aaron Service playing his 57th consecutive start today for Syracuse. Tucker again.
So much of their offense is geared in between the guard and the center guard area. They use their tackles, but if you watch them on film, so many of their big runs have come inside with 67, 68, 57, or whoever. Kalen Ellis is now playing there. They do such a good job on the interior offensive line that it is really nice to watch. Mike Schmidt coaches these guys up. Look at all those interior linemen, and then you have the tackle that will come down and push over. They start you one way, and then there's not a whole big cut. It's more of a flow. Sean Tucker knows as soon as my line moves everyone over and getting their eyes moved over, but also the gap's different. He knows where that one gap is, and you can see him wait for it, and then he hits it. That time it was behind Dakota Davis, who was the right tackle, who moved everything down. I love watching this offense.
Well, Sean Tucker, the nation's leading rusher.
And look at the lower half. Everybody talks about being big up top. No, it all comes from down there, the power muscles, man.
And today's the best game of his career from a yardage standpoint at least. At 181 at Ohio in the opener. 9 away from 2 Bills. And he's close to getting it here. Closing in on 200 on the ground today for the Orange.
And the BC defense has played hard. It's just they've run up against an offensive line that we thought was going to be maligned, but it makes it so much better when you can run the ball and not have to be in a situation to have to throw every down.
Jeff Hafley and the Eagles not giving up. They've used timeouts each of the last 3 plays, but there's only so much you can do if you can't stop the run.
Yeah. And earlier they were doing a nice job against stopping the run, but now your defense is, you lost one of your key guys. You got next man up, and they played well. But I just think the Syracuse offensive line has really said, okay, we've been talked about in a negative light. We had a walk-off win against Virginia Tech, and now we come back this week and we find a way to beat a game Boston College team. And Jeff Hafley's team, they're going to battle. I mean, there's no moral victories in this. They found a young quarterback that can make some plays, but now they've got to figure out how their offensive line can go and how Grossell can come back next week and Morehead. Maybe they do a two-headed combination at the quarterback position.
Orange had 68 rushing yards at halftime. They've now got 274 and counting. Tucker, I think, is exactly at 200 for the day as he sets up a 3rd and 1. The clock's going to be down right by 3 minutes before Syracuse snaps this again.
When you look at him and even when you look at the stats for the season, there's not a lot of lost yards for his rushing attempts. It seems like there's very few yards that are lost with Tucker, and that's just a testament to him finishing with this offensive line blocking for him and knowing, hey, look, if we just hold our block just long enough, this guy may go.
Entering this play, Tucker 25 for 200, a nice even 8 yards a pop. And that average is going to basically stay the same.
That's a prime example right there. You know where the hole is and his patience now. He's become a more patient runner. And hey, man, you can't, Ernie Davis Field, Jim Brown, I mean, you've had some great 44s. But this 34, man, is pretty special. And I played high school football behind Thurman Thomas, who wore the number 34, had a great career up in Buffalo, Hall of Fame career. I'm not comparing this young man to any of those guys, but I'm just telling you, he's got a lot of ability. And it doesn't hurt being at one of the places where one of the all these all-time great running backs have come through.
He looks tired.
He's a little winded.
Cooper Lutz takes it up the middle, and he gains a chunk, too.
Well, just a funny story about that. Rebecca asked about the number 44. I think people hear it so much. And Dino Babers basically said, hey, Dad, my dad says Jim Brown is the GOAT. And that's it. And I agree with it. I mean, you think about the history of college football and pro football. It's been great when you think of Syracuse and for them to have a young man like Sean Tucker, who is really starting to establish himself as that guy that can, the team people are looking at saying, there's been some great names here. And I think we might see his name up there if he keeps doing what he's doing.
He's a special young player as the give goes to Lutz. Talking about some of the history. We saw Courtney Jackson return a punt for 64 yards today. 56 years ago today, Buck, the longest punt return in Syracuse history. Floyd Little took it 95 yards at Shea Stadium against the Pitt Panthers in a 51-13 win for Syracuse.
I love the history of the game because it's, everybody says, well, the game has changed. If you have great players, they're great players, no matter what era. Now, and I think that's the one thing I like. You can be a quiet guy and make plays. You can be a boisterous guy like Garrett Shrader and make plays. But if you make plays, your teammate, you saw Michael Jones coming over to him and like, hey, great game. Those are the things you love to see.
You don't usually see a flag on victory formation. Well, we got one here.
What's the greatest play in football, Evan?
Not if there's a false start.
If it's not a false start, what's the greatest play offensively you can have?
A walk-off touchdown?
That's a high praise, but what is
illegal formation? More than 4 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty.
I'm gonna stop messing with you.
Correction.
On all the
penalty will be declined
today. Jeff Hafley's eager to get to the bus.
Yeah.
I mean, reliving that crazy Michigan State fumbled punt return finish from 6 years ago.
Yeah. I guess the best, when you know it's time to go celebrate play.
Yes.
Okay, it might not be the greatest play, but it is the play that you know the game is pretty much done. Victory kneel.
Syracuse trailed 6-0 with 10 minutes remaining in this game in the third quarter. And have scored 21 straight points.
A lot of respect between these two programs. I'll say this, we talk about elevator game. You've gone down one floor. If you're Jeff Hafley, you got to figure out a way to get your guys back. He's not going to stop battling. I know that.
Well, coming into today, Syracuse knew they were 4-4. Their final 4 games were against teams with winning records.
Yes.
Louisville in 2 weeks, then NC State. Both those are on the road, and then Pittsburgh, who lost an ACC game for the first time. They have ACC championship game ambitions. Final snap of the day, kneeled by Garrett Shrader. And the Syracuse Orange on homecoming weekend scored 21 unanswered behind Shrader, Tucker, and the rest of this running attack. Credit the Orange offensive line as Syracuse gets back above 500. The Orange have won 2 in a row. Boston College drops its 4th straight. They go 0 for October. And they got 6 days before the Hokies are coming to Chestnut Hill on Friday night.